Good morning. Let me introduce myself. I'm Armandi Lamberley, and I'm representing the Conservative Party in this much-awaited general election 2017. I'll try to keep it simple, but I will have to dig in deeper into how and why and by when these proposals will be realised. Before I start, I would like to remind you why this election has come about. Mrs. Theresa May has had to become Prime Minister after the result of the EU referendum, in which David Cameron had to resign. This means that the Parliament is not the one she has chosen, therefore dealing with the EU situation will be harder for her. However, this is a great risk for the Conservative Party, so we need to keep Britain strong, secure, and make it a better place for anyone from any race, any religion, any country, any age, any background, any culture, or any ethnicity. These will be my main points. I'll touch on immigration, education, the economy, housing, terrorism and security, and the NHS. To start off, I'd like to talk about immigration and the European Union. Theresa May has proposed to let some of the tens of millions of migrants enter this country to provide more work, therefore more much-needed money will be pumped into our economy in order for London to remain one of the world's financial cities. This is important because we are trying to make the aftermath of the referendum only affect us positively. Now on to education. The Conservative Party proposes a whopping £4 billion to our public education system by 2022. Also, our Prime Minister has asked to scrap the new grammar school law, which means that we'll have new schools open for the more able without having to pay thousands of pounds per year. Speaking of education, I'd like to highlight how much Conservative Party cares about this matter, because our local MP, Greg Hands, helped our school open and now is still fighting on the behalf of FBS to make our school site come earlier. And yes, he is a Conservative. To continue, Greg Hands also reopened Fulham Pools, which helps our school continue to teach swimming and hold swimming competitions every year without having to travel far. To finish, Greg Hands is in the campaign to save Charing Cross Hospital, which is crucial in our area. Housing is a problem in the UK, but in London especially. However, Mrs May wants to keep it simple and build 1.5 million new homes by 2022. The economy is a subject that the Conservative Party is strong on. We'd like to wipe out the financial crisis as soon, but the most this party can promise is to reduce the GDP deficit to minus 0.7% when it is currently at more than minus 1%. But how we're going to do that is very simple. We need to reduce the taxes on new-coming businesses so that more get created, so that more people have jobs, which means that more money will be produced with lower income taxes. The way the Labour Party seems to go about the economy is very weak. I will take our NHS as an example. The NHS is in a crisis because more people are using it than paying for it. The Labour way of doing this is making making new entrepreneurs pay more tax to pay for the less wealthy. They complain so much about the inhumaneness and the selfishness of the Conservative Party, but they are being inhumane, making so many people lose their jobs because of too much taxes to help the poor. We should work to the benefits of healthcare and not ask others to pay for us. Talking about the NHS, Theresa May proposes to help the NHS with £8 billion by slowly moving it out of crisis. She also offers £100,000 to healthcare for the elderly to help with their housing and everyday living. Finally, terrorism is the biggest problem now. After the attacks in Westminster, Manchester, and now London again, we need to up our safety because keeping the UK safe is our #1 priority, no matter what party you support. The Conservative Party manifesto asks that all social media firms will have to not show any explicit extremist material to reduce terror in the country. On top of that, 2% of the UK's total GDP will go to the defence of our country. That is 0.5% more than previous years. And that will really kill ISIS in this country. Lastly, coming back to our local MP, Greg Hands. He is the most experienced there is in the borough of Fulham. He works at the National Status and has lots of experience in counter-terrorism affairs, which will assure safety in our local community if the Conservative Party is elected. In conclusion, I'd like to state why the Conservative Party proposes a much better manifesto than our main opponent, the Labour Party. They say that they want to help schools, the NHS, the elderly and housing, but where are they going to get their money? Their economic plan is much too weak for our strong country, which does not deserve a weak economy. On top of that, they are criticising us on every decision we make, but they are not in a good place to talk until they have done something good for the UK. Vote Conservative. Vote for a stronger Britain. Thank you.
Dear fellow UK citizens, hello. For those who do not know my name is Toby Adomi, and I am here to show you who to vote for. The Labour Party, obviously, and for you to know that Labour Party is one of the 4 leading Labour parties in this election. My first point is education. The education of this country is one of the top tier in the world, but the common problem for you and me and everybody else is the lunches in school today. Being unhealthy and pricey does not help your learning, and our party can change that by making the system fair, simply by making them free. Another key problem we face is teacher funding. In the great Labour Party, ensuring the further investment into the people who nurture the future generations. To finish, my point is investment into the youth bodies, hostels and clubs across the country to give a conducting environment. The Labour Party is about the labourers of this nation, the young and old, the rich and poor. Our main opposition, the Conservatives, we strive to make life better for all of the classes. To do that, we need to be inside the EU. Many of the poor decisions of the opposing party has landed us in an economical crisis as the pound keeps dropping lower and lower. We believe that if we vote for us, we give the people a chance to change that and to benefit our world today and to right the wrongs of our lives. The young people could also make a change as our party promotes younger people to shape the future, as 16 to 17-year-olds will be able to vote in the next election if we are voted. Terrorism is a huge issue with our country. 3 attacks in 3 months. This is appalling. We as a party are going to secure our great nation and island. You, the people, will now have a role to play, as you should stay calm, collected, and go about our daily lives. If we not do this, we let them win, and we let the terror terrorize us. Now, We plan to put funding into the police and the security systems of our country to protect the British people. We could also do this by reversing cuts into the emergency services and handing money into the security services. Lastly, we believe that we can fight this at the source by refusing to support other wars abroad, such as the Libya war that has affected us massively, and change the wrongs to the rights and make our country safer. Finally, vote for a stronger Britain, a richer Britain, a better Britain. Vote for Labour.